You might not expect it, but Apple's most expensive iPhone actually isn't their newest. That crown goes to the $400 iPhone SE, as opposed to the $1,100 iPhone 11 Pro, which came out in September, while the SE just came out in April.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're comparing the iPhone 11 Pro with the iPhone SE. So before we start here, I will quickly plug my iPhone SE review I did recently, so link in the description, as well as my overall iPhone buying guide if you're not quite sure what you should be buying. The iPhone SE is $400 and the iPhone 11 Pro starts at $1,000. But despite the massive price disparity, you'd be surprised to see how well the SE holds up. It has the same chipset as the 11 Pro, so while it might not have the fancy new design or better cameras, it will likely get just as many years of software support down the line. The 2020 SE could very well be the final home button iPhone Apple ever makes, but it will be relevant just as long as the iPhone 11 Pro. So why am I comparing these specific phones? Because obviously it's not about which one you should buy, they're at completely two different price points. But considering that they are on opposite sides of Apple's pricing spectrum, I thought it'd be interesting to see how they compare to each other. How much do you get for an extra $600 or $700 over this? The truth is you actually get a lot, but they're all mainly luxuries one can live without. So while you might not be able to go without an OLED display, most don't know there's a difference and would be fine with the lower quality LCD panel on the SE. And I mean, if you had to, you could use it too. The iPhone 11 Pro has 3 cameras on the back, which is crazy and definitely useful in some situations, but by no means is a necessity. Most can get away with 1 camera lens on the back without any problems. The SE has the old design we've seen more or less since 2014, but in all fairness, there's a reason we've been seeing it for so long. It's pretty good. What I'm getting at here is the main core iOS experience is just as good on the iPhone SE as it is on the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. Both have tremendously powerful specs and are able to perform any task you would want to do. But maybe you're not satisfied with a smaller phone or need a higher quality display or dislike Touch ID. Whatever it is, if you want an added luxury brought to the core experience, you can get it, but it will cost you. The iPhone SE is like the one-room bachelor suite, while the iPhone 11 Pro is like the penthouse. Alright, let's bring this back down to earth and talk about the two phones' designs. The iPhone SE has an aluminum frame with a glossy glass back, while the 11 Pro has a frosted glass back and stainless steel frame. It adds some heft and does have a more expensive feel to it. Of course, my SE here is red and the 11 Pro is green, but we do have some other options. You can get the SE in white, black, or red, and the 11 Pro in white, black, gold, and green. Both phones I think give a good range of options, and if you really want some more color, you can always go for the 10R or 11. From the back, these phones are very similar. Flip them over and it's a very different story. The iPhone SE has a 4.7-inch LCD display with some thick bezels surrounding it, as well as a home button. The 11 Pro there has a 6.5-inch OLED display that is much higher quality and one of the best screens on the market. The smaller 11 Pro is 5.8 inches and has a similar size to the SE, just without the bezels and home button. Speaking of home button, on the iPhone SE we have Touch ID, while on the 11 Pro we get Face ID. The difference between them, one you use your finger, one your face. I personally like Face ID, but it's a matter of opinion, and both are very solid biometric systems. On the bottom of these phones we have a lightning port and no headphone jack. Both phones are fast charging capable, though unfortunately the iPhone SE only comes with a 5-watt power adapter. Not that it really matters because its battery is tiny. The iPhone 11 Pro on the other hand comes with this massive CHAD 18-watt adapter, which can be used to fast charge your SE, but you'll need to buy it separately. Wireless charging is available for both phones as well, which is great. Same with water resistance, although the 11 Pro is rated at 4 meters for 30 minutes versus 1 meter for 30 minutes with the SE. Both phones should survive a fall into the sink or toilet, so no worries. Speakers are quite a bit better on the 11 Pro, but if it's any consolation, both phones only come with the cheap Lightning earbuds Apple's been using since 2012 anyways. I mean, they're fine, but I wish Apple would give you AirPods or something with the 11 Pro. It would really help with the overall value. Battery life is going to be drastically different on these two phones. The 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max are amazing and will last you all day plus some. My 11 Pro Max often will last me 2 days and could probably push a bit more if I needed it to. The iPhone SE on the other hand has a much smaller battery, and with that comes worse battery life. From my experience, I'd say it should last you the day with moderate use, but down the line in a year or two you might start to have some trouble. Batteries degrade as time goes on, just how it works. Let's take a look at the cameras. The iPhone 11 Pro has a 3-lens setup on the back here, all 12 megapixels, one telephoto, one wide, and one ultra wide. The iPhone SE has a single 12 megapixel wide lens that is pulled from the iPhone 8, but does have the benefit of better hardware so it can take portrait shots. The iPhone 11 Pro does take better photos as you would expect. Apple has come a long way with camera tech recently, and the 11 Pro is definitely one of the best on the market right now. Having the range you get with the 11 Pro is awesome, thanks to the 3 lenses, but is it $600 extra awesome? Probably not. While the iPhone SE does have an older camera, because it can take portrait photos, I'd say it's actually good enough. We are missing night mode, which is a really nice feature of both the 11 and 11 Pro, but in good lighting conditions, the SE will do the job. Photos are mostly quite nice, and for the average user, this is going to be perfectly fine for now and the foreseeable future. Video on both phones can be filmed in 4K at 60 frames per second, although this is 30 FPS on both. The lenses are all optically stabilized, so this looks really good on both phones. Yeah, it's a bit better on the 11 Pro, but the SE definitely holds its own. The selfie camera on the iPhone SE is 7 megapixels, while the 11 Pro has 12 megapixels. In all honesty, there's not a big difference, because what that 12 megapixels do on the 11 Pro is give you a wider view, or you can crop into pretty much what you get with the iPhone SE. It still is better, but both phones will do you fine for selfies, and both can do portrait selfies, which is cool. Considering the SE only uses software because of the lack of Face ID sensors, it does a pretty darn good job. Needless to say, the SE's portrait features are pretty great.
It's also worth mentioning that the iPhone SE can only take portrait photos of people, while the 11 Pro can also do other things like this flower. That is a nice advantage the 11 Pro has.
The iPhone SE might have a mediocre main camera, but the internal hardware backing it up manages to help out a lot. With this $400, we're getting the most powerful smartphone chip on the market, the A13, as well as the 3 GB of RAM. The 11 Pro has the A13 as well, but 4 GB of RAM. The truth is, day-to-day performance is going to be nearly identical between these two phones, which is very impressive considering the price difference. Both are top of the line and will continue to be fast and get software updates for probably the next 5 years at least. Apple is amazing when it comes to supporting older devices, so with these you can expect a long and pleasant life. It's funny that both of these phones really are a lot more alike than they look. Again, the iPhone SE does the perfect job of being the base model. It works, it does what you need it to, and it does it just as well as the best model for the most part. And if you want those nicer features that you maybe don't need but really want, you can have them. They'll just cost you. Again, $400 for the SE as opposed to at least $1,000 for the 11 Pro. It's not a hot take to say the SE wins when it comes to value, and it's not even close. It's a terrific deal, and one a lot of people are going to take advantage of. That said, the phone is also really bare bones and mostly uninteresting. It's a faster iPhone 8 without many changes. The iPhone 11 Pro is a truly premium device with its frosted glass and stainless steel. Those 3 cameras really tell everyone that you are indeed superior to them. I kid, but both phones do have their place in Apple's lineup. And I don't know, I find it kind of interesting just to see the contrast between the two phones. What do you think? Are you impressed with how the SE holds up compared to the 11 Pro? Do you have either of these phones? Let me know in the comments down below. I think I'm about done here, so if you enjoyed the video, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at 91_tech if you'd like to for some reason. And with that all being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Josh from 91tech, and I will see you all next time.